Afternoon, everybody. Back here at Busted Knuckle Cattle. By a viewer's request, we had someone ask if we could walk them through the entire working system, and just so they could get an actual full idea of the working system that we have set up here. So let's go ahead and do that. So right here we have the main catch pen. I have a main line that jets out here, and of course these panels are all temporary. As time goes, we're going to do things a little more permanent. The majority of this will be, if not all of it, will be changed over to continuous fence panels, is what my idea and plan is for this. And this will be bigger as we grow. You know, you can do what you can do, but right here, this is our main catch area. The way we have it set up is, this is the front area of our pasture, and obviously right here's the gate and the road. So it's a short draw. You don't have to drive 20 miles back into a pasture to get here. So what I like to do, and I set it up this way, is what we'll do is we'll figure out where they are in the pasture, and we'll push towards the road, which is up here. And we'll push them, we'll just guide them along this fence line here. And as they get to this corner, we'll start a cut. And we'll start cutting them back. And whenever we cut them back, that's why this is angled the way it is. It kind of creates a funnel between the fence line and the actual catch pens framework, if you will. And so we'll funnel them in here, and as you can see, it progressively gets smaller. That way it can funnel them in a little better, get them into this system. Mainly right here, why it's funneled in is because I've figured with this setup, it's better to have more panels on the long side to get them funneled into this little bottleneck area than it is to have a larger actual holding pen for right now. And that's just because of the amount of cows that we're working with right now. As we grow, of course, there will be things changed around. Now that we have the chute and the diverter built, that freed up some panels that we were using, and we'll be changing some of this around. But it's worked pretty good. So we funnel into here, and right here, this last panel pretty much acts as our gate. It's hinged over there on that side and connected. And what we do, once they're in here, we just shut this panel, and there's a chain that stays here. It doesn't get moved for anything. I've learned the hard way, if you move chains one time, you'll never find them again, or they'll never be back in the right place where you need them when you need them. So chain's not that expensive, so I typically buy probably around 10 feet of it at a time and just cut what I need. And most of this is left over from whenever I had some leases, or a lease. And that was before we had this place, and I've since let all my leases go. So now that we're here, everything's becoming a little more permanent, but I'm keeping this stuff because I plan on growing again. This was kind of like a hard reset and setting up a good ground base here. So what we're wanting to do is, once that is shut, this is our little working area. You can see they've kind of worn it down from coming in here. I like to feed in here, and there's a water. I like to feed them almost every day, if not every other day if I can, just so they get used to this area and they know that it's not always shot time, or you know, it's not always that we're going to be giving vaccines, or you know, something that they could possibly be having a negative experience with, whether that be castration or whatever. So we work our way into here, and I do have a little walk-through gate right here that I can go back and forth in between the chute without having to climb over gates. Don't mind the mess. We're in the middle of a few projects. And so what we have right here, this whole little funnel area right here all funnels into this sweep tub. This is a 180-degree sheeted tartar tub I picked up off of Marketplace. And basically the idea of it is as the cattle walk in, it's a constant curve. Cattle like to walk in a curve, so we try to naturally give them that. And with this, what this does is, this is a panel that's attached to this the main beam right here. And as it goes, and as your cattles move through, you have this little spring latch here, and it'll move backwards and whatnot. And what happens is, as they walk, you can see it catches to where if they start pushing back, the door catches itself, and you can just push it on through, and you just keep going like such. And as you can see, as you push it, the holding area within the tub gets smaller. And that's so we can constantly work cattle or hold cattle and contain them in this area without having to constantly be moving cattle all the time and only being able to hold what can be held in our chute. This tub here for our stockers could probably, I think, comfortably hold somewhere around 10 to 12, possibly more at a time. And as you can imagine, that gives them the room and the freedom as we're working them to be able to just kind of move around. They don't have to be in the chute the entire time. So that kind of helps keep them calm. They know they're trapped, but they're not necessarily confined. So, you know, they're not being squeezed. Whenever I have them in here, I don't push it all the way to cram them like sardines. I push it enough to where, you know, they couldn't try and get a running start if they wanted to, but they're not cramped up, you know. So then as we come through, we go through this bow gate here, and we get right here. This is what's called our diverter gate. Y'all seen this in a past videos. You know, I've done most of this walkthrough before, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and just go through all of it. And this diverter gate swings to both sides. It does exactly what the name of it is it diverts cattle either one way or the other. So in this position, as you can see, it's going to run them straight through the chute and into the squeeze chute. And what we have right here is this white section is the scale. I built this platform and got some load cells that come from Amazon that had great reviews, and we went ahead and tried them, and so far I've loved it. But we'll cover that in a different video. But if you swing it to this position, it opens up and it comes back into the pasture, right? So a few reasons we might need that is, one, if we're sorting off different animals, say if we did go back cow calf and we had cows here and we didn't want to do anything with the cows, but we wanted to work the calves, or vice versa, or just say we had a group of calves that we needed to work or that we needed to sell, and some of them were not going. The whole purpose of the diverter gate is to be able to section off the ones that you need from the ones that you don't. And, you know, we can either send them out to pasture or send them into the chute, or if we're selling, what we can do is we would load out of the load out chute. See where that comes in? So theoretically, whenever we would be selling, there would be a truck back here, a truck and a trailer backed up to the load out chute. So as we sent cows cows or calves through here, they would be going onto a trailer. And if we wanted to keep them, and we had some that we keep them and we couldn't cut them up here for some reason, and by cut I mean separate them off from the ones that we did and did not want, we could simply open this gate, send those through that we're going to keep, and then close that gate back off to where they go into the trailer. All right, so let's move on through from here. And as we move through, what we have here, like I said, this is the scale, and we have a latching gate. It is a slam latch that basically it closes behind the cows whenever they come through, to where they would be weighed, and they'll be basically sectioned off in this area, in the scale area, to where they wouldn't be able to run back and forth across the scale, or possibly, you know, hurt themselves by trying to jump all over the place or whatnot. It just keeps them, it keeps them on the scale, so that way we can get a weight on them easily. And the reason this is necessary, before I built this, I did not have any good way really to keep them on the scale, just because of how everything was laid out. And it was a pain to try and get the cows to come up onto the scale and then stay on the scale while we were trying to get a weight. You know, they would either run forward or run backward, and half of them, their back half would be off the scale, or their front half would be off the scale, or whatever. But this keeps them contained on the scale. It just makes it a lot easier. So here what we have is the squeeze chute, and there's a sliding gate here that's typically, it would be closed whenever we're using the scale, and the cows just walk through here, and this is where we would work them. And this is a 54 series from Aeroquip. That's what we decided to go with. I shopped around for a few years. Every time I'd see a different squeeze chute that I haven't seen before in a parking lot, we'd pull over and look at it. There's some at the local stockyards, and also, of course, the big box stores, not to be named, that they have their own brand. And this is just, this was my favorite we came up with. So we'll be doing a full video on this squeeze chute and going over it and the features and what I like, what I don't like, and a little blooper for that. There's really nothing I don't like about it. Yeah, I wanted to appreciate y'all for coming out. Just wanted to show y'all a little walkthrough of the chute, and stay tuned for the next videos. So hit that subscribe button. We need it. We appreciate it. Have a good one.